Hey folks, very tragic situation, February 2025 in Miami, Florida, on a trolley, a situation that was actually on its way to being successfully and effectively de-escalated. Both parties had separated, but then it exploded and went off the rails. My name is John. I'm a retired police officer, an Army veteran, and a certified crisis intervention specialist through the National Anger Management Association. Check out this video from I think from one of the news stations that I found that ran this story. I'm going to be making some comments and all that from the security video from the trolley. Check out this video and story real quick.
This video surveillance shows the brutal stabbing and also really just the horror that unfolded inside this trolley as people were just trying to get to their destination. A warning, the video you're about to see is very graphic.
What are you doing, man? Back up away from me. Back up!
Video shows the moment police say 46-year-old Lamont Collins, seen with a black hoodie, confronts 49-year-old Adolph Bruce. Collins is heard yelling at him to back off. Bruce, a frequent trolley rider, was just standing, waiting to exit. The argument between the two gets heated and violent. Video shows when Collins pulls out a knife. The trolley driver is stunned because of the weapon and tries to control the situation, but fails. Despite the two separating shortly, the fight escalates and Collins attacks Bruce repeatedly with a knife. Blood begins to splatter all over the trolley. Other riders are heard screaming and try to run out for their safety. After about 30 seconds of constant stabbing, video shows when Collins at one point storms out and Bruce, covered in blood, follows.
This is also another example of why it's so critical that when you are in a restaurant, on a trolley, in a train, just wherever you are, you develop that situational awareness in that, know where your exits are. Everything on this trolley seems to happen right here at this front exit. Now, I'm familiar, I've never been on a trolley in Miami, but I've always assumed there would be a back exit. I just think it kind of sucks that there's only this one exit. I know my team and I have worked with transit buses and bus personnel and staff and drivers and all that, and buses have at least two exits and entrances. So I was kind of surprised. I learned something here, but it's one of those things where just be aware of where your exits are, you know, and after watching this video, one of the things you need to consider is if there's only one exit, one entrance, consider a different game plan if that exit is blocked. You've got the windows too. All right, so we have a gentleman, Bruce, who is now waiting to try to get off the trolley, but you've got this guy, Collins, who won't get out of the way. So there's some words exchange, and for some reason, Collins gets all up in Bruce's face. Now here you see on the video, Bruce, he's not trying to be combative. You can actually watch him and you can see he seems to be explaining, hey, I just want to get off. He seems to be just talking to Collins, de-escalating. He's playing his ace card, A, appearance. He's not looking combative, aggressive, confrontational, or anything like that. C, communication, the tone, your tone of voice and the words you use. I would believe, just based on the video, and we have no audio, at least none that I've found. There probably is, though. At least there is video because you can hear the driver talking to Collins. I just don't hear Bruce being aggressive with his tone of voice, being snarky, demeaning, confrontational, antagonistic. He's just explaining to the guy. He's holding Collins back, trying to hold him at arm's length, trying to maintain a reactionary gap, a defensive reactionary gap, and just trying to explain, yo, man, I just want to get off the trolley. Engagement, soft tone of voice, again, not trying to sound like he's trying to be combative and antagonistic in return, which could absolutely spiral out of control. The bus driver, you know, he's trying to de-escalate the situation, soft tone of voice, trying to talk to Collins. Hey, man, you know, this gets out of hand. You're going to be going to the bus. Somebody somewhere on that bus shoulda, coulda been calling the police and get them rolling. Because here is a man, apparently during that initial altercation, had pulled out a knife. Looking at the video, it looks like he had the blade in his hand. This is a blink of an eye from becoming a deadly murderous assault, but no one did anything. Now, I don't know how much time passed, but apparently things had settled down to the point where Collins, the initial aggressor and all that, was sitting minding his own business behind the driver. And I don't know why Bruce didn't get off the trolley when he had the opportunity to. I mean, this, after the initial separation from both people, if I was Bruce, I would have gotten the hell off that trolley and then called the police and made a report that this guy just got all up in my face and was very assaultive and aggressive with a knife in his hand. So I don't know why Bruce ended up remained on the trolley, because the initial argument was that he wanted to get off the trolley and Bruce was still standing there. I'm not sure what the timeline is right there, but unfortunately, you can see on the video Bruce working himself up, and he's like, "Go, let's go!" Why? You just got done fighting with a guy who you know has a deadly weapon. What what are you thinking? And that's the problem. In times of stress and confrontation, we ultimately, without training and conditioning, are going to have a vapor lock and do nothing at all, or we're going to underreact, or we're going to overreact. And here's a situation where Bruce did not slow down, take a breath, and think things through. Number one, get off the trolley the moment he had an opportunity to. I like to think if he had just told the driver, "Hey, you know what? Let me just get off," driver would have been happy to just let him go. I'm not exactly sure how or why but one or both of them weren't kicked off and the driver had the chance. I mean, that will come out in the trial and all that. But just looking at face value, there's obviously a lot more to it than what we have. And I'm just trying to pull out some basic teaching points just based on the video that we have. It was basically on its way to being de-escalated in that both parties were separated and there was no active aggression at that moment. But Bruce, you could see, is working himself up. He could have gone back several rows and just created distance between him and this guy that he had just had a fight with, again, with someone who had a knife. So if you're ever in a situation like this, get away, create distance between you and a nut job from someone who clearly demonstrates a propensity for violence. Why would you stay in a dangerous situation like that? Because you think you're more dangerous and more lethal? Didn't work out for this guy, Bruce. Don't assume that your kung fu is better than someone else's. And in this day and age, everyone has a knife and a gun. Man, do not be thinking you are more lethal, badder, stronger, uglier, meaner than the next person, even if they are shorter, thinner, and smaller than you. Do not let your pride and ego put you in a bad situation. And again, this situation could have been avoided in several different points, but again, just at face value, great job by Bruce initially playing his ace card, did not become overly confrontational, antagonistic, was very defensive. If the situation had just ended right there, the video shows how defensive he was. All he wanted to do was get off the trolley. He's just trying to maintain a reactionary gap between him and Bruce. You can see he seems to be just trying to gesture and demonstrate that all he wants to do is get off the trolley. You don't see him trying to swing. You don't see him trying to grab or wrestle or anything. It's purely defensive, reactionary, and just trying to de-escalate the situation. And unfortunately, somehow he ended up escalating the situation to the point where now Collins fatally attacks Bruce. Slow down, take a deep breath, assess the situation, think things through. What are your avenues of escape? What's your terrain like? Maybe you can go back a couple seats back and just create distance between you and this subject, or go out the other exit. I don't know. Just be aware of your surroundings, situational awareness, and then the self-discipline to execute a plan that it will more likely than not make sure that you go home safe to your friends and family. Thank you to everyone who follows me. I now have about 3,000 followers now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I also just started up a Patreon page, so thank you for everyone who started following me on Patreon. I appreciate your support. On that note, take care of yourselves, be safe. I'll catch you on the next video.